Hi, my name is Andrew. I got a 2003 Dodge Caravan here. It's got the 3.3 liter flex fuel engine in it. And I'm making a video on how to replace the valve cover gaskets and the spark plugs on this thing easily. Because I've searched high and low on the web. I found one for a 2001 Dodge Caravan, which is a little bit different. So I thought I'd make a video for the 2003 Dodge Caravan. Okay, I had a little jump on the gun here. So one of the first things I did was remove the wiper cowl assembly, and you can see I got that out. That comes out actually relatively quickly. There's probably about 4 bolts right along here that hold the assembly in, and over here I got the assembly, and you got these other clips here too, so you undo those, then you take the 4 bolts out. There's 2 drainage ports on them, one on each side. You want to go ahead and remove those. You'll feel like it's stuck on there otherwise. The top part assembly is got about 4 Torx bolts holding in, and then you got to take the wiper arms off. The wiper arms themselves were a little sticky, so I just used some PB Blaster to loosen them up and a gear puller to pop them off. So once you got the assembly out of the way, you can look down in here and see that you can get at the plug wires and the rear valve cover pretty easily. The only thing in the way is the power steering supply hose, which I'm trying to figure out how to take off without getting power steering fluid all over my floor. Obviously the front plugs, the front valve cover are easy to get at. You got about 8 bolts holding the valve cover on, and you know, the plugs are fairly straightforward too. So you get a lot of working room in here. Shine the light down in there to get to the back of the motor once you get that wiper assembly out of the way. So I will proceed to take the valve covers off. Okay, so we got the valve cover off the vehicle here, and cleaned up the gasket surface a little bit. As far as the power steering hose, I just undid it from the pump and I moved it out of the way relatively quickly. Didn't spill that much fluid. Some came out of the top of the pump though. I did get the spark plugs changed, and I got the spark plugs replaced. Kind of an interesting surprise when I was changing out the spark plugs is these 2 front ones here were loose. We bought the van several years ago used, so I don't know if that was a flaw from the factory or what. It's only got 90,000 miles on it. These appear to be the first time the plugs have been changed. The other surprise I found out about the plugs was the gaps on these are, I don't know if you can see that there, the gaps are relatively enormous. The gap's supposed to be 0.50. Some of these are up to 0.80, 0.90. I don't know if that's corrosion or they were just misgapped or what. Now down here, I got the valve cover. We pulled the old gasket off, and I got the surface cleaned up, and I got the new gasket put on. Not a fan of how these things are constructed. I hope these Felpro gaskets are a little bit better than the factory ones. There's several of these rubber grommets that you have to pop off the old bolts and put on these new ones. Those are a little bit of a pill to change out. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to put this valve cover back on, and then I'm going to do the front one and then take it down and do a motor wash. Alright, I went ahead and I got the rear valve cover installed and replaced. Had to send my fiance to go get a PVC valve. Be prepared to break that when you take it out of there. Those things are really brittle. And I got the front valve cover off and got the gasket area all cleaned up and everything. I got the grommets popped out of the old one and the gasket all in place on the new one. So I'm going to put this on and then take it down, do a motor wash, and we should be golden. Alright, we're all done. I got the valve covers installed. I took the motor down and power washed the motor and got it all nice and cleaned up to get rid of all the power steering spills and the oil spills and everything else. And we got the wiper cowl installed back on and the wiper blades. One of the big gotchas I ran into on this was the PVC valve. It's very brittle. Got a new one. Put the new one on there, and it's got a big socket adapter on it. And I started threading it on, and it snapped. So I'm gonna go get another new one. So just be careful with that PVC valve. But other than that, not too bad. It's a lot easier once you get that cowl out of the way.